Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. I'm Susie, and this podcast helps you navigate your journey through the crossroads by taking a deeper look into witchcraft and spirituality. So settle in, grab your beverage of choice, and let's get this episode going. What is up, my gorgeous souls? Guess what time it is? We're out of Mercury retrograde. Whew. Wiping the sweat off my brow. We are out of Mercury retrograde. And when Mercury retrograde was ending, we had that Gemini full moon. I hope you made your moon water. And oh man, let me tell you, as I am recording, it is the full moon in Gemini. It is the end of Mercury retrograde. And I don't know what it is, but I had this drive to like clean this space where I record, do my readings, and do my Reiki. And mainly because we we needed to put some boxes away quickly because we had guests over. And I got all that out, and then I was like, yeah, I gotta dust, and I'm just not liking everything, just feeling that purge. Anybody else experience this? Because honestly, I don't know what it was. It's like it'd been there, and I was like, well, I do need to get to it. However, it's Sunday. It's getting a little late. I still got to go to work, and I couldn't not do it. So I don't know if you've ever done this before, where you're about to start like a project, and then you start, and then it's like you made a bigger mess than what you started with. Yeah, that's me. And mainly because I need more shelves. I I need the space. I need shelving to put my books. I need shelving to put my tarot decks, my crystals, and just trying to find space for all these things. Not only that, but I really felt this drive just to start purging. And even going into my own closet, it's almost like I want to spring clean right now. So I don't know if anybody out there is feeling that way, but that's exactly how I'm feeling. It's just a little bit wild, but I'm feeling good. And I had a 3-day weekend. I took Friday off because my oldest bonus boy, my stepson, he graduated with his associates and he'll be graduating in June with his high school diploma. I always say it's wild how you have your associates before your high school diploma, because he's doing the early college thing, and just so proud of him. I love those boys. I love them so much. They're all smart cookies, and in seeing that, I really felt like we should have more 3-day weekends or 4-day work weeks because I just feel better. Just felt better. Felt like I could, sleep in and then lounge around and then, get to getting some stuff. So we'll see if any of that gets adopted. I highly doubt it, but taking a sip of my water. So with that out of the way, I want to talk to you about the winter solstice. Super pumped about it. I'm not a fan of the cold. I am not a winter girly. Mainly because I really do feel the effects of nature around me. And I used to say, oh, I hate the cold. It makes me lazy. No, I don't care for it because we're still expected to go and move and go to work and be super productive when literally the world around us is telling us to slow down. It's time to reflect. It's time to, look within us. It's not springtime. It's not a time to like come out and do all these things. And I love now that in my craft, in my journey, that I can see that now because I was like, oh, I just hate the cold. I hate being cold. I hate leaving my house. But I love the feeling of it being winter, it's a lot cooler, putting aside, Christmas and New Year's and all of that. But just I don't know, something about being just snuggled in a blanket with, your significant other, your family or your pets, and just really just being in that moment. That's what I love. That is where I'm like, yeah, this is what I love. Baking and oh my God, you guys, I love soup and I love warm beverages, like hot beverages, like hot cocoa, hot tea, hot coffee, just holding it in my hand. It's like comfort in a cup. And same thing goes for soup. I can eat soup 365 days out of the year. I don't care if it's 110 degrees outside, I'll still eat me some soup. Yes, I am that girl. But that's what I love about this season. And let me go ahead and rewind a little bit. The winter solstice, if you're listening to this in real time, is happening right now in the northern hemisphere. It is the shortest day of the year, and that's when the dark presides over all of our waking hours. So we have longer nights and shorter days, which really makes me, want to snuggle and stay in bed. It's not that I'm lazy, I'm just doing what nature's doing. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's the complete opposite. The sun is actually shining longer, so you're going to have the longest day and the shortest night. But today we're going to talk about the winter solstice. And the winter solstice is happening December 21st, 2024. And the sun is actually entering Capricorn. And this is what starts us in the season of the solstice. This sacred time is a time to release all of the old, so literally all the old from this year, 2024, or whenever you happen to hear this, we are releasing. And we are going to set fresh new intentions for the year of 2025. Now, I'm not saying that, you have to celebrate the new year and we're gonna do these goals and go to the gym. No, because I'm gonna drop another episode how I don't align with that. However, you can most certainly set an intention for 2025. It doesn't have to start right in January because we're still in hibernation. We're still looking within that hibernation mode. But we're thinking about it. We're planning. This is what I would like to do. And then once spring starts rolling around and we're starting to come out and we're budding, planting these newer seeds, then we could start moving and putting things into motion. That's what I love about this time. But this time right now is a beautiful time to reflect. And it was so beautiful that we came out of Mercury retrograde, right? And even if you think about the retro shade, I don't know. I mean, some people say 1 week, some people say two. Majority I've read is usually 2 weeks of the retro shade. We're slowly coming out of that. At least it'll be a week, but I really feel now it's like the fog of cloudiness is starting to break. And with that full moon in Gemini, we were able to really just detach. And you know what? I'm not going to take this into 2025. Now, you can say it's your villain era. I mean, it's got a nice ring to it. Like, I'm coming into my villain era. No longer the princess. I'm going to be the wicked witch. They're not wicked. They're not really inherently bad. It's setting the boundaries, it's saying no. It's moving forward in that and what's going to be best for yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. Checking all the boxes because honestly, you have to make sure and maintain that your cup is full. Because how are you going to fill others' cups when yours is literally bone dry? And this is when you have to be aware of energy vampires and people that are against this mainly because they they love who you are if you're the doormat, right? If you're always saying yes, even when you want to say no, you're always the nice one, enter whatever here. And when there's changes, people are not going to like that if it's not to their benefit. So you need to make sure you keep that in mind. But let's take it back a little bit. As the wheel of the year continues to move forward, right? Because as we all know, the wheel, it continues to move. It doesn't stop. We have the winter solstice, or some call it Yule. Here is where we see our seasonal shift, and we are celebrating this, like I said, on December 21st. And I love the numerology of it as well because you have 1221. And I really get into that in my newsletter. Make sure you signed up. I got all the links down below in the show notes. But this allows us to enter a new portal. And as we're marking the start of winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, it really draws not only the year to a close, but also it has us take a moment to stop or slow down and really start connecting with those that really do fuel our soul. We connect with family and maybe friends who are aligned with us. And this is the time when we reflect and be like, you know what? You are not the best for my alignment. You are not the best for my highest good or my highest vibration. And that's okay. It is okay to outgrow people. It's okay to even outgrow your job or relationships because we're all on different journeys and sometimes our paths happen to separate. This is also a time that you're probably reminiscing and reflecting on everything, not just the good times, but something about the Christmas season maybe will make you feel all warm and fuzzy, a little sentimental, but also just depending, it could also bring in other emotions, grief, um, some level of sadness. And the reason is because as we turn this wheel, as it continues to move forward, we're coming to a close. We're ending a chapter. We're closing the book on 2024 or the year. And some of us are like, we can't close that book fast enough. It's just it's funny, but it's not funny where I'm seeing memes and stuff where it's like, I haven't heard anyone say new year, new me because I feel like it's been a shit show of a year after year, right? It's just crazy here in the States. But we want to make sure that we have this sense of connection, even if you've been out of touch. Some of us have friends or family that we really don't talk to on the daily, but when we do, it's like we picked up where we left off. And that's beautiful. Like I've always loved that aspect of this time around, this time of year. Because we start to like, oh, we're reminiscing and we're kind of reflecting, really thinking Six of Cups energy. Thinking of the past, the good times. Maybe we're looking at, children playing, and we really see almost our younger selves, our inner child in that too. And hopefully you can conjure up some good memories, but it's also important to reflect on the not so good because those are our turning points, and that's where we can really discover what we need for ourselves, especially with all the magic coming around this time of year with Yule, winter solstice. So let's see. Um, the veil between the spiritual and physical world is a little thinner around this time. And I feel it's because it's almost like that we're 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 teleporting, right? We're transporting through time because this is a time where we're reflecting and maybe we actually connect with our ancestors, those that have passed on. I know we pay homage to them Day of the Dead, where it's spooky season and the veil is very thin. But this is also a time where we have, I mean, obviously the a veil is thin, but it's easier to connect with our past loved ones or our guides or our ancestors because of the lasting impact they have put onto us. Again, Six of Cups energy. And a simple way we can celebrate is just to make space for that, celebrating their lives, or again, reminiscing old photos, passing around old stories, and just kind of feeling their presence around them, around you. So, I'm going to actually discuss a few things on what you can do around the winter solstice coming up, Yule. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about, let me see actually if I have time because maybe I'll do another episode. Maybe I'll save it for next year. But I really do want to get into how, with the magic of Yule, how this is heavy on pagan traditions. And a lot of what we see as, quote unquote, this is very Christian. Yeah, like the Christmas tree and how we decorate. A lot of that is, and I'm not even going to say borrow, that is straight up stolen. A lot of these Christian traditions that you do is very, very pagan, very. And I'll see if I can actually get into it a little today, but as you are using this time for reflection, yeah, this cycle of life, understand where all of this came from is not all candy canes and reindeer, okay? Yes, we have to embrace change, whether we like it or not. Change is always uncomfortable, but doing a little bit of research on where things began doesn't really take a lot of energy, especially nowadays with the way we have technology. Know that the passage of time was crucial to many ancient cultures. Because, hello, the sun keeps us warm, right? It keeps us fed. We have to grow crops. And in ancient times, the solstices, the wheel of the year, were really fundamental to survival. So as we look at our modern calendars, right, we continue nonstop, but really within the nature of where we are, we're really not supposed to be hustle bustle right now. Again, you can think of your intentions that you want to bring into the new year, you know, 2025, but really understanding that our ancestors relied on the sun's position in the sky to know when to harvest. So I just wanted to give that little bit. Okay, I digress. What can we do to bring in the magic of Yule, the winter solstice? And like I said, we may be feeling a little reminiscent, really feeling the Christmas spirit. Hopefully, you're not, battling too much with people out there gift giving. But something, yeah, like I said, about baking the cookies, decorating, seeing the lights, the twinkling lights, maybe snow where you are, not snow here. We really start to feel the magic in the air. And this is a time for relaxation and rest and good times and food and drink. So the easiest thing for you to start is maybe to do a simmer pot. Simmer pot is very, very easy to do. You put a pot on the stove, fill it up with water. If you have moon water, awesome. And you can start adding ingredients to that water that are going to bring in what you would like to bring in. So you can throw in oranges for abundance, cinnamon for luck, like a cinnamon stick for luck, cloves for protection, rosemary for protection. And shoot, you can even maybe throw in some cranberries. And you can just give that a little stir and you leave it down to a simmer. The only thing with the simmer pot is you gotta watch it because it will burn. So maybe put an alarm clock just to see how it's going. And with your simmer pots, they can all bring different intentions. So you can do a simmer pot to cleanse the energy of the home, bring in abundance into the home, maybe just feel the spirit of Yule in the home or in the space. And depending on what you add in there, especially if you have to kind of practice on the DL, on the down low, you can even create it as a tea. And no one's gonna know. No one will be the wiser, believe me. If you decorate a Christmas tree, you can create your own decorations and hang them on the tree with your own intention. And this I love doing all the time. You can get one of those ornaments where you can decorate yourself, like it's just a clear ornament. And you can put things in there, pine needles. You can put red ribbon. You can put whatever it is that you're going to put, like a cinnamon stick, some crystals in there. Fill that baby up, and that could be like your intentions for the space and hang it right on the tree. And it's just some festive good times. Who's going to know? Same thing goes with the wreaths that you hang on your door. This is a perfect time if you hang stockings. You can actually put some crystals in the bottom, like in the stocking, especially your stocking. You can put some, protective crystals in there, and if people put little stocking stuffers in there, awesome. But that's another way that you can actually bring in some protection in your home or just clearing the space so that we all just are here to get together because again, I understand the holidays can be very difficult for some of you. But that is a sure way of nobody's gonna know. Literally. No one can see inside that stocking. Throw the crystal in there. Some crystals would be like maybe some tourmaline, some jet, some obsidian, just depending, on your protection. Or you can just invite love and lightness with some rose quartz. That would be beautiful to just hide in your stockings if you're hanging up stockings. Same thing goes with the wreaths. If you put a wreath on your door, all you need is the intention. Okay, wreath, thank you so much for your beauty. I hang you on the door to protect the energy of this house and may nobody's crappy energy come through. All of this is super easy. It's just speaking the intention, hanging it on your door, and voila, you're good to go. This goes the same with, and this doesn't even have to be Yule related. I'm just going on a little tangent, but like your soaps, shampoos, if you're having guest stay, like just really cleansing the space and, protecting the energy or whatever energy you're really wanting in there. And you can really look up these ingredients and nobody's going to be the wiser because you have to have soap in to wash your hands. You know what I mean? So this is how you can be, really witchy under the radar. Something that I really love doing, if you can, If you have like a fire pit outside or a chimney, you could light the Yule log, and normally the Yule log stays, lit all night. But something about just that the beauty of that fire is it's almost very therapeutic. And even if you don't have a fire pit, or maybe your chimney is like your fireplace is electric, like it's fake. It's a heater, but you don't really put logs in there. You can have the same intention. Use what you got. You don't gotta go out and buy things. Seriously. So let me see. You know what else is really good right now, if you can find them, is the cinnamon brooms. Oh my gosh, if you can get those little mini cinnamon brooms, those would be perfect for protection and bringing in abundance. And you can even like sweep out people's energy that was in your home. I like to hang mine like right on my front door, and nobody even really notices it at all. And if they've noticed it, they really didn't say anything about it at all. And before I forget, use color magic, especially if you're decorating your space or your home. Um, right now, we have traditions of like red and green and blue and white. Um, but you can even incorporate those colors in your color magic and color and decorate your space. And if you would love to know more about color magic, I have an episode on it a few episodes down. So make sure you look that up. Another thing I'm going to leave you with here is the 12 days of Christmas, but Yule style. And you probably have heard of this. I really, 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 really love it. Usually the name of the holiday, Yule, comes from blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you've heard of what I'm about to tell you, and there's different spins on it. I'm so sorry. But the name of the holiday itself, Yule, it comes from the Germanic pagan tradition and was associated with the wild hunt. And the period began on the night of the winter solstice and continued on for 12 days. So, again, depending on the folklore, the region that you're in, the wild hunt was a process of huntsmen, and usually they were often led by Odin. Um, but the hunting party was very familiar with, elves and fairies and the spirits. Remember, I said right now is a good time, the veil is pretty thin. So, this 12-day period was accompanied by nights of feasting, celebrating, drinking. And while there are most certainly not, what is it? The 12 days of Christmas songs, the 12 days of like the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me five golden rings. Okay, that wasn't involved in this festival until way later, like when Christianity came about. But the 12 days of Christmas had come from a traditional Yule period. And I wanted to share that with you because it can, I can't even imagine taking 12 days off to honor any season, but especially Yule. But the intention that we carve out just a little bit of time for some relaxation, maybe some rest. We don't have to go all, I mean, if you can, awesome, all out with festivities and food and drink and party. But on these 12 days, reserving time for yourself, just a little bit of time. Like, even if you give yourself 2 minutes to breathe with that intention of, okay, we got the 12 days of Yule slash Christmas. Maybe you create a festive drink. Maybe you just go to the store and you get like those already pre-made cookies with the little decorations on. You just throw them in the oven and voila, you got cookies. That is a celebration in itself as well. So let me tell you what about the 12 days of Yule or Winter Solstice that I like to partake in. And you can do this at any time. It doesn't have to be on the eve of Yule. It could start on Yule. Some people start on Christmas, Christmas Eve. Totally depends on you. Okay, here we go. Here we go. You're going to have two different sheets of paper. And one can be your journal and the other one can be a sheet of paper because you're going to cut that paper into strips. What you're going to do is you're going to number 1 through 13. And I know you're like, Susie, you said 12. I know. Trust the process. 1 through 13 on both sheets of paper, whether it's in your journal or however. You're going to actually put on paper 13 wishes. And it could be you could be wishes, it could be your goals, your intentions, however it is you want to see it. But you're going to write these down. And once you have completed these, on the sheet that you're going to cut up into strips or pieces those 13 intentions, and we're separating those 13 intentions. And you're keeping the other list, where you can reflect on it. You're going to take that list and you're going to fold up all these 13 little slips of paper. And you can throw them in a cup or just, scatter them on a table. And what you're going to do is each night, you're going to pick one slip of paper and you're not going to open it. You have no idea what it is. And you're going to set each paper on fire for the next 12 days. Now, if you cannot set them on fire, you can bury them. You can be real intentional with it. You can put them in a jar. I've done, that's something we've had to do. So you can put all of the 12 wishes or goals into a jar, and then that has a top, and you would actually seal it with a candle. So that way you can't peek in there. And then you can take that and you can bury it. You can put it, somewhere where it won't be disturbed. Now, that 13th wish, after 12 days, you're going to have one slip of paper left. That's your 13th wish. That wish or goal or intention, it is your responsibility to make that come true. So I should have led with that. Make sure these are 12 goals or wishes that are in some way obtainable, because one of those is going to land on your lap and it's going to be your responsibility to work on that for the next 12 months. And each month you can reflect on maybe, oh my gosh, that was my wish, or what have you. Now there's a whole bunch of different spins on this. You could also pull a card for that wish. Like, you can't see it, but you can pull a card on it. And then you have your list in your journal or whatever. So when we come back 1 year from now, you can look at all the wishes or goals or intentions you had and see how many of them came true. But the 13th one, that's on you. That's what you got to work on. And I love this. I love this idea. I think it's a beautiful idea where you really reflect on what you want, your goals, your intentions, and then you literally just almost forget about it. Except, for the journaling aspect of it until we come back a year later to reflect on how our year was. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. That is something I like to do each year. If you would love to do something along those lines, but it seems kind of tedious, I've got you. Right now, I have going on my year ahead tarot spread, and it is open for everybody. I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. These year ahead readings, are for anyone and everyone, and they make great gifts, to be very honest. I have different tiers for them, but in a nutshell, I basically do what I just described for the 13 wishes. And I pull a card for you for each month of the year, and it's starting in 2025. You have your energetic card, so like your signifier card, and then I pull the rest for each of the months. And we really focus on that month. So let's say January is, I don't know, the Two of Cups. And we really reflect on Two of Cups energy, depending on what your reading was about, especially if you're really solely looking at possibly, moving jobs or financial freedom or really looking into relationships, or maybe it's just general, however you want to, it's your reading, right? But I pull cards for you for each of the months, and I send you a very detailed email along with, if you would like, I also offer Reiki. So it's like these Reiki check-ins that I like to do. That really helps you really focus on a card and see how that month went. I do it for myself. I've had clients that absolutely love this. I know a lot of people that do this. If you do read cards, it's an excellent way to really lay out the year and really reflect on the energy of that month. And if you do both, the 12 days of Christmas with the 13th wish, and this, you can really see where the universe is trying to speak to you. We all get busy. We all, once we hit up steam, it's like we're go, go, go. And the slowness of Yule, the time when we're relaxing in this winter solstice season, quickly diminishes once the wheel turns and we're into spring because we're moving forward. That's how things work. But if we're looking at goals and we're trying to remember intentions and goals and wishes that we're setting now, it's nice to have someone in your corner like myself to help remind you, like, hey, have you checked this month's card? How did it go? How did last month's go? And we can have, a very beautiful way of communicating and getting back on track on maybe maintaining some boundaries, maintaining balancing the chakras and feeling safe in your root, remembering to ground. Maybe we're really connecting with our guides and our ancestors. And I mean, hey, life is what it is, right? We have twists and turns and we're at a crossroads. And that's where I come in. This is where I help lead you. I help you down that journey so when we do meet at the crossroads, we can go back and see what card was pulled for you this month. So, just something to think about. I got all the links in the show notes, and if you've got questions, hit me up. I love hearing from y'all. And what else? What else? Oh, duh. Another way that you can low effortly celebrate the solstice and Yule is this Wednesday. I have my community Reiki. This is Elevate Your Practice, so it's going to be a little bit more. We're bringing in more. And the intention here, the 18th of this month, is to release whatever else wasn't released with this full moon and before we get to the solstice. And elevate your practices where I pull a tarot card and actually do candle work for y'all. Perfect to really cleanse out the energy and open ourselves up for whatever the universe is wanting to hand to us. Whatever it is that we are asking, we need to make sure that we unpack our backpacks with whatever crap we got in there we don't need anymore. That way we have space to fill it back up with things that we want. So, Elevate Your Practice is open for the community. It's held via Zoom, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I have all the links down in the show notes. I also have all the links up like on my Instagram. Hit me up. You basically log in. You don't have to have your camera on. We settle in. I pull the card for the collective and I lead you in a guided Reiki meditation. And I send you Reiki to help clear out any negative stagnant energy and whatever it is that we're gonna bring in. So I want to see you there. So the holidays can get hectic. Even though this is a time where we're getting ready to slow down, if you celebrate Christmas, it's around the corner, especially if you are hosting or you feel like you have to be around a lot of family or a lot of people. Maybe you don't have a choice. This is the best way to fill up your energetic cup so that way you can stay in a good place, especially when you're going to be surrounded by a lot of people and a lot of energy. All right, gorgeous souls. Until next time, I will see you at the crossroads.